Hey guys, what's up? Bisexatron here from OneHive Gazette, here with the next video, and in this one I'm talking about an announcement that Supercell has put out regarding the new update that we're going to be seeing soon, and specifically the part that people are really paying attention to because it's so important to the game, which is friendly challenges. So I think it's going to have a pretty profound impact on war and the game in general, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the implications of it, at least from my perspective in this video. But I am a little bit late to put out a video. I know a lot of people already have, a lot of the big YouTubers, and you guys might have seen that. I sat back, I watched a few of those, looked at the announcement itself that Supercell put out on the forums, and now that I've had a few hours, I guess, to think about it, I'll give my opinion. But first, I just want to talk about what it involves for those of you guys who don't know. Basically, it's friendly challenges being added to the game, which is a system in which you can request in the clan chat for someone to attack your base. You can choose any of your 6 layouts, so your 3 home villages, your 3 war bases, and you can just hit the request, almost like you're requesting troops, from what I know, and you'll choose a base for them to attack, and they can almost sandbox it. Whatever troops they have cooked up, they can use on it. And you can obviously edit your village to make it whatever you want before they attack it, and you can choose what kind of base they're attacking, and then they hit attack. It doesn't cost them any troop space. They have to have the troops trained up, I think, but once they're trained up, they don't lose them. They just stay in their army camp even after the attack, and there's no cost and there's no loot gained. So it's kind of a sandbox type feature within the game, which is something that I was really surprised to see. But it looks like there's not going to really be any limitations from what I've seen as far as how often you can do this, any kind of timer on it, or anything like that that's going to kind of safeguard using this to copy the opponent's base in war. From what I know, I mean, obviously nothing's been finalized because it hasn't been released yet, but as far as what I know, it's basically just going to be whenever you want, you can, put your base out there in the clan chat, and whichever base that is, someone can attack it as many times as they want, and not that it matters that much, but it's not going to cost them any gold or elixir or anything like that. Just kind of a free thing to do, a friendly challenge, which is kind of like what they have in Clash Royale. So when you see this kind of thing, you have to kind of think about why Supercell is doing this, because to me it seems a little bit contradictory to what we've seen from them over the past month or two. And if you look at Clash Royale, they actually have a pretty similar system where you can friendly battle your friends, and I think that's always kind of a cool thing to have. It's fun to play in Clash Royale for me, to be able to request when I'm hanging out with someone at school or something, and then just be able to play a 3-4 minute game against them. So I think they're trying to get that same kind of fun feature in Clash of Clans, a bit of a social aspect, and it's immediate. It's something that doesn't take time, because everything in Clash of Clans takes time pretty much. You have to train troops for every attack. You have to take the time to build bases. You have to wait in war. I mean, everything is just so drawn out. You have to wait for upgrades for up to 2 weeks. It's a very time requiring game. So this is kind of something that I think to balance that, to make it that immediate. You can go in there with troops and attack once, and then attack as much as you want. You can tweak your army, stuff like that. But there's kind of a problem with that, and you have to think that Supercell saw this coming when they decided to implement this feature. I mean, I'm gonna give them at least a little bit of credit that they're not so uninformed or naive that they're going to think that this isn't going to be used as a form of modding, because pretty obviously what you can do with this, it's not like this is some kind of secret way to get around the system. You can copy the opponent's base in war, and let's say my clanmate wants to attack a certain base. I myself can copy that base, tile for tile, on my own base. Then I can request for someone to attack it in the clan chat. He can go in there with whatever army comp he wants, attack it as many times as he wants. As many times as he wants, from what I understand, and practice until he's confident he can get the 3-star. Now, okay, there's the thing that you're not going to know where traps are on the first hit. But first of all, you can still get a pretty good idea of how your attack's going to go, even if you don't know where the giant bombs and the Teslas are. And also, as soon as the base has been attacked once, then you definitely know where they are. So whoever's setting up the identical base puts the traps in the same location as the actual base you're going against in war, and then there you can just, spend as much time as you need to get the 3-star, assuming that it's doable, which it in most cases is. I don't think there's any base at Town Hall 9 or probably even Town Hall 10 that can't be cracked given enough time. So that's an obvious repercussion that's going to happen, and I think this is really going to hurt the war community, the fair play community specifically, because it's what war is, and what the great thing about it is that it's not entirely a time-based thing. Trophy pushing, farming for the most part, those are kind of time-based things. However much time you put into it, that's what you'll get out of it. I mean, if you're willing to, be on Clash of Clans until it literally kicks you off and continue to search, train the troops, you can get pretty high in trophies. The same thing for farming. If you just keep farming, you'll get your base upgraded pretty quick. But for war, you only have the 2 attacks, and you can plan for a certain amount of time, but planning can only get you so far. At a certain point, things are going to go wrong. You need the skill to be able to adapt. So the beautiful thing about war was that it's something that wasn't based off time. It was something that was more based off skill. You can go on, twice for every other day. Do your attacks. It doesn't require a ton of time, and that was the great thing about war, in my opinion. But what this is doing is it's saying whoever's going to win a war, assuming people, who are competitive enough will take the time to mirror the other opponent's bases, is saying whoever takes the most time to try to crack it, like a Town Hall 10 or Town Hall 11 base, wins. And that's now the resource that people have to utilize to win a war. It's no longer skill. Now it's just who has the most time to sit down, try on their clanmate's base, the identical base, who has the most time to crack a base, to find out how to 3-star it, and then to duplicate that in the actual war itself. So is this affecting a lot of people in Clash of Clans? Probably not, as far as breaking the war for them, because remember that there's the huge community that's very casual, and this is something they're probably going to like, that they're going to welcome, because it's giving them an opportunity to practice their skills, to get better without having to be as scientific about the game as people are in the war community. They don't have to, study it as much or try to tone their skills as much, because they can just practice it on one of their clanmates' bases. And that is, I guess, a bit of a benefit, is that people will get better and their skills will develop as they're able to attack more. But this is obviously just legalizing modding within Clash of Clans, and not only legalizing it, but just giving it to the players on a silver platter, because it's an in-game feature that people can now use. So I think this is a little bit contradictory, what I was saying earlier, to what Supercell has been doing, because we just finished the modding, the banning of all the modders, and not everyone got banned. Obviously, there's a lot of people that didn't, but we were starting to get chunks of modders taken out of the war community. I think there was a few high-level war clans that used mods that were disbanded because the players got banned, and they just kind of fell apart. So I think it was working, and we were celebrating that, but now after all that, they're just kind of letting pretty much something that's equivalent to modding be a thing in the game. Because it's really doing the same thing. It's practicing an attack over and over again until you perfect it, and then from there you can just do it in your war. And the 3-star really doesn't mean anything, in my opinion. I think some people will value, you spent the time, you sat down there, got it done. You still have to have some skill to do that. Even if you have a ton of time, you still have to be able to find out the right formula to take out the base with the right combination of troops. And that is true to some extent. I see that argument. But for me, and I think for much of the war community, we don't value that as much as we value a skilled, well-planned attack where you only get one try on the base. And I think that's something that war has been based off in the OneHive family and in other fair play clans. And not having that there is really going to make war a lot less fun, in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and say what I think is going to happen now as a result of this. Because to me, I think if this is a thing, it's going to be pretty clear what's going to happen to the war scene and Clash of Clans in general. And as far as how sure I am that this is going to be how the update looks, I think I watched Jake's video, Jake from the OneHive 1.0 clan. He actually, from what I heard and what he was saying, talked to Supercell, and they are pretty, firm on having this being implemented in the game. So it's not like something that they're just putting out there to see what people feel about it. It seems like it's something they're really planning on introducing into the game. So if we assume that it is going to be implemented in the game, I think that pretty quickly you're going to see clans that either choose to spend the time or don't, and that will determine whether a clan is the top war clan. Because I can tell you right now, OneHive Genesis, as a clan, we cannot beat even kind of a mediocre clan if they're willing to spend the time to use this kind of use this feature to perfect their attacks. Because there's no way to beat that. If you can try as many times as you want, it's just a matter of how much time they're willing to spend. So even if a clan that has mediocre attacking skills is willing to sit down and break every one of our Town Hall 10 bases, figure out how to 3-star it, we can't contend with that, assuming they have somewhat okay bases. So that's really what's going to determine what clans are good from now on, is what clans are willing to sit down and take the time to do this. And I really don't think that's a good thing in the war community. I think, and from what I've seen, there's been a huge outrage in the Fair Play War Clans, FPC, people really not liking this new feature, and I agree with them, obviously. One more thing I want to say is that clans that feel like how I feel, I'm not saying this is how Genesis feels. I really haven't had the time to sit down and talk to people, but I assume they're not a huge fan of the update either. But clans that are feeling the way I feel, I think are going to try to do arranged wars where using this feature is not an option, where it'll be policed within the clan. They'll say, hey guys, we're not building bases to mimic the other clan's bases. We're just going to play how it used to be. I think that could be something that could at least make arranged wars back to normal, because does anyone really want to do an arranged war where you sit down on a Saturday and say, okay, let's put these bases up on the screen. How are we going to crack these? We have an unlimited amount of tries. We can spend 8 hours here if we need to. I don't want to do that. I don't think many people in the Fair Play community want to do that. That's what modders used to do, because they had the time, I guess, or something like that. They were willing to sit down and spend that amount of time. But I think the whole appeal of the Fair Play War community was, first of all, the thrill of and the joy of having that one try, and also the fact that you don't have to waste your entire weekend, trying to plan a 3-star on a base, or just by practicing it over and over again. So, excuse me. Because of that, I think we're going to see some arranged wars. There might, have alternate rules where you can't use that kind of feature within the game, etc., to try to make it how it used to be. But to be honest, you can kind of do that, but whenever you're doing just a regular war with a random search, the clans are going to use what's available to them. So, not going to blame them there. I don't even know what we're going to do in Genesis. I'm not sure if we're going to use this or not, or what's going to happen. I really don't know, to be honest, but most clans at least are going to use this, and it's going to be a choice. You have to basically use this to be competitive if you're going against even an okay clan. So as you can see, I'm pretty far against it, and I really don't know what's going to happen to Clash of Clans, what OneHive Genesis is going to do about this. I'll be sure to let you guys know when we talk about this a little bit more. But this is one of those situations where I really don't know how this is going to affect our clan. I think, like I've said, I can speculate pretty good to my knowledge as far as how clans in general are going to treat this. But as far as our specific clan, that's something that I'm not sure about. So we'll see in Genesis how we want to deal with this. And I know one thing is the hitchhiker video. I was planning on making a video on how you can apply to that. It's not going to be called hitchhiker. That's what people tend to call it, because I think Jake's channel started with that name. But where I go around visiting war clans, that series, I'm going to try and get that application out. But with all this craziness going on, hope you guys can understand if it's going to take me a little while to see where I want to go with that series and if I want to pursue it, because the state of the game comes first in my opinion. So you'll hear more about that series soon, and if everything's going okay, I should get the form out for you guys to fill out if you want to apply to that series. So anyway, really crazy time, and I hope they don't implement it, but everything I've heard is telling me that they are going to put this in the game. So we'll have to see how this affects us, but like I said, war is not looking good, at least the war that I know and that you see on the channel. So anyway, thanks for watching. Tough video to make, I know. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm interested to see kind of your guys' opinion on that, and you'll definitely hear more from me and from what's going on in Genesis soon. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys later. Bye, Sectatron out.